18 suspected IPOB members have been picked up in respect to the murder of the two police officers in Abombise local government area in the Imo State. Why do you think that is beginning to look like every time any crime is committed in the southeast, particularly Imo State, the indigenous people of Biafra are put at the fore of these crimes?
Well, first, our condolences to the police officers who lost their lives on the line of duty. The second take we have on this storyline is the fact that the synergy between the police and the army, at the point of incidents and immediately after, is something that we need to commend. Now, to return to your question on why the IPOB and ESN, Eastern Security Network, are always being accused. The answer is very clear that they have been the main actors, in the separatist fights, the fight for separatism in that region, and there's nobody that has that kind of facilities. We are not dealing with armed robbery, because if it is armed robbery, it will be very, very clear. But in this case, we are dealing with, the attack on security agencies, and there has been a pattern. There has been a pattern, especially when such attacks take place, and up until now, that the pattern includes the fact that certain days are set apart as no market days. People should stay at home days, and that is, we are talking about the business hub of the country, the commercial hub of the country. So normally the police, they have a trend, they follow pattern, they have established procedures when such things occur. The pattern has been that all kinds of all forms of criminals, criminal elements, take on military camouflage. And in this context, apart from the military camouflage, they said they were also wearing the black and the black t-shirts, and which is also common with our Nigerian police. So anybody could fake security agencies, but the first pointer usually is to, especially in the southeast, is to the IPOB and the ESN. And you know that it should be a source of concern, because any moment from now, the Supreme Courts, should be delivering judgment. I think December 15th or thereabouts,
yep,
on the case of the leader of IPOB. And there is also the foreign wing, supposedly foreign wing, which the local wing of the IPOB, has disowned, which is the Simon Ekpa's wing, which actually came up in the briefing of the Chief of Defense Staff
at the National Assembly.
At the National Assembly. So all this adding up, when things like this happen, the tendency is to look at looking at the pattern. Who are the likely people that are supposed to do this?
No.
So that is what I think it is.
Now, the reason why you just made a critical point, the judgment for Nnamdi Kanu's appeal to the Supreme Court is coming up on the 15th of December. That is in about 2 weeks' time. Now, put that on one side and bring to the fore the question I asked earlier. It's beginning to look like every crime committed in the southeast now have a name attached to it as ESN, IPOB. However, that is becoming a bit of a challenge, because we don't know, IPOB is not written on anybody's face. There are no ID cards, any form of identity, tattoos, or something that you can say, okay, because this person has this tattoo, they are members of ESN or IPOB, as the case may be. Because these are Igbo young men and maybe young women, as a matter of fact, that are being captured as criminal elements as we speak. Like you said, because of maybe their leaders or their leaders' instructions or positions be proud to this, and they're beginning to see them in that light. But when you also put it across to say that these are not armed robbers, basically, and all of that, we saw what happened with the bank robbery and all of that. Police officers were killed and all of that. But that is police officers being killed in the line of duty. These men were also in the line of duty. Are we now, if we're coming back to the southeast and in most states for it particularly, are we not creating a very ugly pattern that may come back to haunt us without properly investigating issues and giving a tag to these people? Or are we not saying in essence that being a separatist means that you're a criminal?
First and foremost, let me taking you back to where I actually stopped. Part of observation there is citizens' failure. The fact that this thing happened at a major junction.
Two different major junctions.
Involving, from the narrative that you have just read out, it is not just a truckload of persons, but apparently they had come in several vehicles. And going forward, I want to distinguish it from what happened in Benue State. Benue State clearly was a bank robbery.
Yeah, but police officers were killed.
Police officers were killed. This one happened at a filling station. The attack was not on the filling station, those who are operating the filling station. If the attack was an armed robbery attack, of course, armed robbers go for money and valuables. The attack would have been on those filling station staff. But in this context, it was on security agencies that had stopped over to refuel. So
there was a gun duel between them and these hoodlums.
They were trying to refuel. That was the clear narrative. And at the filling station, Boek filling station, and these guys came and opened fire on them. Now the question is, at that locality, in that local government area where this thing had occurred, I'm very sure there are indigenes of those local government areas that may have also been privy or say it the other way, that may have also observed some movements. And that is where, as citizens, we feel in our responsibility to our security agencies. They can't do everything alone.